So now that we got these steering wheels all done, the next thing I have to do is make the mounts that they'll attach to. And last year we were using this pattern here to pull a few, and this worked fine. The problem with this, though, is you're only making one every single time. And I wanted to try to increase the production on that. So I designed this pattern that will allow me to cast 4 at a time. The advantage is that it takes just as long to ram up a mold to make one piece as it does to ram up a mold to make 4 pieces. So that's a huge time savings. Looks like the first layer is going down pretty good. Yeah, I don't know if we have enough metal to fill that. If that's the case, we can cut one of them off. Or maybe 2 of them, whatever we need to do. Oh, there it goes. A little sanding and priming. Just gotta smooth out all those layer lines. Sanding, sanding, and more sanding. Alright, we sanded this with 120 and 220, and I washed it and dried it. Now we're going to prime it. Time for a second coat. Several coats of primer, sanded it, and we'll get a few coats of paint on it. Wow. I don't know if this is going to pull cleanly out of the sand or not. It should. It's got good taper on it. Everything looks good. The other issue is I don't know if we've got enough metal in our furnace to actually fill this or not. So we need to do a test pour and see if this is going to work, and if it does, go into production for it and pull the pieces we need. Get some nice facing sand in here. See if it pulls out. Put this little hole right here for that purpose. Came out pretty good. I think we can do better though.
20 minutes later.
Alright, let's see if this one works any better. Okay, it looks better here so far. That looks excellent. I don't have to do anything to this, because this is going to be our bottom. Okay, slip this on. Okay, this looks good. Now we're going to need some vents here. Punch a hole right here. Need more metal. It is what it is now. And bring this over. Hopefully this crucible holds enough metal. The crucible doesn't break. We don't leak. So many things can go wrong here. Not sure why we're not filling. Yeah, that's not good. Well, mistakes were made. I don't know if you caught what happened there or not, but I didn't take the pattern out of the mold. That's why the metal was not going into the mold. I just thought I had some sort of weird air pocket. But I don't see the pattern sitting around here anywhere, so I'm pretty sure it's in there, or at least what's left of it. So now I got to remake that mold, which is unfortunate because that's about a 3-day process till you print it and prime it and paint it. I am curious to see what this looks like, though. Let's see how big of a mess we've got here. I can't believe I did that. Yep. Here we go. That is really unfortunate. So we haven't had a Ride of the Week segment in a few episodes now. I just haven't stumbled across anything that I thought would make a good candidate. But if you know of an old ride that's hidden away in a barn or forgotten out in a field and it's in danger of being towed off to the scrapyard, send me an email. You can send it to rescue@PeteRondeau.com, or if you just aim your smartphone at that QR code, it'll start the email for you. All right, we're back to it, and we've actually lost about a week of time here because we sort of lost our window of opportunity for doing this job. There were other projects I needed to do, and so when this didn't get done in the time frame that I had set aside for it, it kind of backed everything else up. But we're back to it now, and first thing we got to do is clean up this sand and start the process all over again. So... sand has gotten really dried out here. Probably get our furnace heating up. Yeah, this is really dry. All right, we've got this all sifted and broken up, but it needs a lot of moisture added back into it because it's not packing at all. You do not need to see all of this. All right, we're back with our freshly remade pattern. Hopefully I don't screw it all up this time. And we've got our sand pretty well conditioned here. Feels like it has the appropriate amount of moisture. Get it out of there. All right, that looks good. Okay. Last time we vented in here, so we'll try that again. Seems like if we do some of this action here, might help. And we need to make a little pouring spout, which I always do with this thing. All we need to do here is remember to take the pattern out. So we still don't know if we've got enough metal completely fill this. That's what we're going to learn on this one. That's pretty good. We're clamping. And we're clamping. And we're ready. All right, I think we're up to temperature. We're going to do this thing. So I still have concerns that the crucible is going to crack and that it does not hold enough metal to do this pattern. I have ordered a new crucible though, because I just don't trust this thing. This may be our last pour with it. I just don't know if we've got enough in there. Now, if we don't have enough, what I'll do is I will just cut off one of the stems. We'll know in about 20 minutes. All right, time for the moment of truth. I guess put your guesses down in the comments as to whether we had enough metal in here to fill this. What do we think? Well, that side looks all right. See if we have any shrinkage on the other side. Well, this is looking pretty good. There's a little bit of shrinkage here in the backside, which is kind of to be expected and is a non-issue, really. So there it is. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that piece. Those will work perfectly well. But I am going to wait. I'm not going to do any more with that existing crucible because I'm just scared. If this thing shatters or starts to leak, it's going to fill the whole furnace with aluminum and essentially just destroy the furnace, or it's going to be a huge cleanup job. Either way, it's not worth it. A new crucible is between $25 and $30, so I've got one on order. It's going to take a few days to get here, though. All right, so we're back in the shop, and I received the crucible today, and hopefully it's in good shape. I've read some reviews where these actually arrived damaged, so hoping that's not the case with this one, but we'll get it open and see. So far, so good. It's labeled 3 kilogram, so it's the right crucible. After 8 uses, 1 hour per use. The crucible needs to be naturally cooled outside the melting furnace after use. Pay attention and replace in time. Looks pretty good. I'll show you a shot here of the difference between a new one and a used one. So these both originally looked the same. And you can see how this sort of tapers down a little bit and all of the pock marks in it. So they really deteriorate. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to put this in the furnace and I'm going to slowly warm it up to drive out any moisture that might be in it and get it up to temperature. And then after it's set like that for a while, then we'll take it to full temperature. This is the first time I've received a crucible, though, that had this note in it. They must be trying to stave off some of the reviews they've got about these things not lasting. I'm going to set this for about 150 degrees Celsius. Alright, well I think it's hot enough. We're going to pour it. I have verified that the pattern is not in the mold. Here we go. There's our piece. Doesn't look too bad. Certainly good enough for what it is. Would help if we had some risers to prevent that shrinkage, but we just don't have enough metal to do it. Our metal is ready. We are extra hot and extra full. So here we go. This crucible does not hold as much as the other one, but I'm wondering if it's because the other one was so worn out that it actually had increased its capacity. Hopefully that'll be another good pour. The mold rammed up really nicely, so I'm hopeful. The advantage of this is it breaks up all the large chunks before they ever get in the bin. Come on. Again, a little shrinkage here in the back, but that's on the back. It's not going to be seen. We would need a much bigger riser to get that to not happen, and we don't have enough metal in the crucible to make that work. It's another night in the shop, and we have another mold ready to pour. Aluminum's up to temperature. This is number 4, I believe. Here we go. So I was doing a little calculating, and if we're only supposed to use these crucibles 8 times, but this crucible here, calculating back on it, I think we used it actually 18 times. So we potentially got really lucky. So I'm glad we didn't continue, because I fear this would have cracked in the furnace and dumped its entire charge of aluminum down in the furnace and just ruining everything. So we'll let this sit for half an hour or so, and then we'll shake it out and see how it looks. Okay. It's really amazing how hard the sand gets baked, where it gets super hot. Okay, that's number 4. Okay, we're on our last pour, and I'm very happy about that, because I'm really getting tired of all the dust and everything. I need to get this cleaned up. Yep, we're good. Let's do this thing. Shoot. Well, that did not work. So much for that. I guess that's not our last one. Okay, we're cleaning up after our little debacle there. And I don't know if you caught what happened on camera. I don't know if the camera picked it up. But what happened was, when I was pouring the aluminum, a little puddle of it bounced back out, which that by itself is not unusual. The problem was that I was here holding the tongs like this, right? And that little dollop of aluminum, it fell into my hand. So it had nowhere to it had nowhere to go. And I knew that, I mean, these are leather, but eventually it's going to burn its way through. And I could start to feel it getting hot, so I panicked. And that's when it all went wrong. And the minute I knew that I had poured over the top, I knew I was done anyways, because it takes all of the metal in that crucible. And the actual cause of it was probably two different things. I was intentionally trying to pour a little faster than usual because I was trying to see if I could get a better quality cast with less chance of the metal freezing up before it fully filled the mold. But the other issue was that I was just really trying to get done with this project. This is the last one, and I'd like to get my shop cleaned up again. So I was probably moving a little bit faster than I really should have and not paying as much attention as I should have, which makes an interesting point. I don't want you to ever confuse this as a how-to channel, because I'm just a guy in his garage doing stuff that happens to have a wide range of interests, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm doing things the best way. What I'm doing here is just documenting my projects for posterity, so that years from now my kids or grandkids can look back on them and say, yeah, that was our Poppy. So, I mean, if you pick up some inspiration along the way for your own projects, that's great. Or if you just appreciate the nostalgia of the projects I'm working on, that's great too. But please don't ever take this as the gospel or the way things should be done. That's a shame. It almost has enough metal to fill that, even with the problem we had. Okay, I think we're ready to go. Let's hope this time is a little bit more successful than the last. I think we have a winner. We'll know in about half an hour. These tools can be put away. At least I hope they can be. Looks good. So there it is, number 5. And with that means we have all 20 we need. Well, actually, we have more than we need because we did a few sample pours last year with a single mold. So we have plenty of them. The next step is going to be to start machining them, both these and the steering wheels we made last time. And if you don't want to miss any of that, click that link to the left and come along for the ride.